Okay, I think we'll get started. Thank you for being here. My name is Dr. Markowitz. I'm going to give you my best today so that you walk away with some more information than you came in. And we also give people opportunity to find out more than what we covered here today. If you'd like, I'll talk to you about that during the talk, actually. But today's topic is feel great, lose weight, healthy eating for life, secrets of permanent weight loss. If you're here for these things, that's what I want to talk about. So some of the things that we'll cover: why calorie counting doesn't work, why eating fat doesn't make you fat, what hormone may be out of control in your body, how stress affects weight loss and resistance, how to reduce your risk of developing breast and other cancers that are related to increased weight also. So increased weight is tremendously connected problem to lots of problems. And so I think I gave you a handout that also says something about the side effects of being overweight and also the health benefits of healthy eating. And so you want to avoid the side effects of being overweight and you want to get the benefits of healthy eating. I mean, I would think that that would be really important for anybody. Hello. All right. You can grab a handout in the front there. Have a seat. Okay. Hello there to everybody on Zoom. If you have any questions, you can get them to me through the office here. Helen, would if somebody called and said they had a question about a talk, I will leave some information for anybody who wants to pick that up. Also, anybody that's on the Zoom meeting, and I'll also give you a chance to find out how to contact me. Okay. So I'm going to read you a little bit about me. You might have read it already, but I'm a member of the Foundation for Wellness Professionals. It's an organization of about 1,000 professionals like myself who are very interested in preventive medicine and helping people prevent problems, getting them healthier through natural means, trying to give you alternatives to medication and to surgeries. So that's a part of my background, and it's part of the reason why I speak to community gatherings like this. They make it a requirement in order for me to still be a member of the Foundation for Wellness Professionals to give a certain number of lectures during the year, and also to invite people into our office and let them find out personally what could be done for the problems that they're still having, even though they're trying lots of things that may be just traditional medicine. I have nearly 40 years clinical experience treating over 15,000 patients. I consult many corporations in the area on ergonomics, which is the study of how to do your work either in a job or at home healthier, and so you don't hurt yourself, and so that you have more energy at the end of the day. So I'm an expert at that. I have a diplomat in occupational health. I lecture on topics of optimal wellness, stress management, natural solutions to type 2 diabetes, sleep disorders, male and female hormonal problems, sports and work injury treatment and prevention, and holistic health care. I've been a member of the spinal surgery committee at Danbury Hospital, and I also completed a postgraduate program leading to a certification as a functional medicine practitioner. Anybody know what that is? No. Okay, you're going to learn today. Okay. And a diplomat degree by the American Board of Clinical Nutrition. I have certification in Oriental medicine and acupuncture, and I'm currently enrolled in a diplomat program by the American Board of Clinical Nutrition. Okay. That's enough about me. Okay, so it's all about being healthy and fit. That's really what life should be about. You want to live not longer, but you want to live longer and healthier. If you're at the end of your life and you're in a nursing home or in a wheelchair or on dialysis, that's not the way that we were designed to end up. And there are lots of things that you can do starting now to prevent those problems from occurring later on. Our lifestyle has a tremendous effect on our health. And so you're going to learn more about that. Real age versus biological or chronological age. So I've had 15,000 patients in my office, and some patients look their age, and some people look older, and some people look younger. I've had 50-year-olds that are like 70-year-olds, and I've had 70-year-olds that are like 50-year-olds. And it has to do with how they take care of themselves, really. Genetics is a very, very small part, have a very, very small part to play. So I want you to start to feel like you have some control over your health. You can do things that help control the outcome of your health. And we know that from studying other populations. I don't know if you've ever heard of the blue zones. Anybody heard of that? Okay, so there are 5 areas in the world where people live to be the longest, actually. There are more 100-year-olds in those areas than anywhere else in the world. And they have certain characteristics and habits that are very, very common to all the areas. Good diet, increased activity, being social, being active on a regular basis. And those are the primary things that really have allowed them to live longer. And it's not because they have a tremendous healthcare system. Most of these places don't have the number of hospitals that we do per person. They don't spend the amount of money that we spend in our country on health. And they really, really live to a long, long age with very few health problems and a minimum of medication and surgery. So it's possible. Let me ask you this question. Would you rather be wealthy or just not poor? How many people would rather be wealthy? And how many people just not poor? Either answer is okay. Whatever you say is all right. Would you rather be intelligent or just not stupid? How many people would rather be intelligent? This is an intelligent group. Good. And would you rather be healthy or just not sick? Healthy. There's a difference. Most people only go to the doctor when? When do they go? When do you go to the doctor? Maybe for a checkup once a year, but otherwise, when do you go? When they're sick, when you're sick. And so the ideal thing is really to be healthier so that you don't get sick and you get sick less often. You don't get as sick. And those things are possible. They're under your control with the right advice and guidance. You really, really can live a much healthier, pain-free, disease-free life if you start to do the things that I'm going to suggest to you. Point is, health is not simply being symptom-free. What does it mean to any of you to be healthy? Anybody who gives me an answer gets a prize. So, what's your definition of health? It's a big prize. Big, big, big. Anything you say is okay. That's a good one. Good. See where my big, big prizes are. Okay. Well, you're not getting that. You're not getting that here. That would, yeah, that would be a little. Yeah, this is something about stress, actually. And if you put your little thumb on that pad there, it'll tell you how stressed you are. And you can actually start to learn how to decrease the effects of stress and how stress affects you. So health, according to a dictionary that all doctors use and all healthcare professionals use, it's called Dorland's Medical Dictionary. And in that dictionary, we can look up any word that's a medical term, and we basically get a definition of it. And the definition of health in that dictionary is health is a state of optimal physical and mental and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease. So it's not being sick. That's not what it is. Being healthy is being closer to the best you can be. And some people can be, ultra marathoners. And I'm not going to say that that's what we turn you into, but some people really have very, very lofty goals about how healthy they want to be and how fit they want to be. And some people are just happy, as you said, being able to do the things you want to do and not being hindered by your health. Good. That's good. Okay, so how many people here have done anything to make themselves healthier than they were 5 years ago? Anybody? Have you tried? Yes.
I've been doing something I've always wanted to do.
Travel stuff. Mm-hmm. And you're happier also. Yeah, good, good. Okay, yeah, that's one way, just doing things that you love and really, really make you happier and healthier. And If people don't experience that, I think they're missing something in life. But there are other things that you can do. We'll talk about those. Anybody here who had more than one symptom on this pain and stress survey that we filled out? How many people had more than one? How about two or more? Maybe you don't remember already. How many people had three or more? Okay. Well, I'm not going to go past three. I don't want to embarrass anybody, but what that does is it tells me something about the population, the health of our average population. These people came here today, and really what we know now is that these symptoms that I put on this sheet and the things that people want to know about because they're concerned about it and have some problems with some of these things are common. They're very common, so common that everybody has it. Almost everybody has at least one of these symptoms, but they're not normal. I want you not to equate common with normal. It's different. Normal means you're like everybody else in the population, and unfortunately, our population is not that healthy. So, but if you really, really do your best to be as healthy as possible, I think you get down to very, very few symptoms and problems. Okay. Would you check your car if the engine light went on? Symptoms are a warning that something is wrong. So how many people would look at their engine light if the engine light went on? Anybody here? Huh? Yeah, of course. Some people actually either pull the fuse out or put a piece of black tape over it so they don't look at it. And so what you really should do is take it to somebody who figures out why the engine went on. And I think the why is really important. And so what a functional medicine doctor does, myself, is we want to think about why you have a problem, not just what you have. Don't just do a bunch of diagnostic testing to figure out what the name of your problem is, but we actually question you and look at your history and look at what you've done and figure out why you have it. So that's what a good mechanic does. Why did the engine light go on? So I'm like a mechanic for your body. Sometimes I feel like an alignment person or somebody who tunes you up. But I would say that's what I think about. As soon as you come into my office and tell me your problem, I'm thinking about why you have them. And get rid of the cause, then we're really helping you a lot. So let's take a kind of a typical common problem that people have. How about headaches? Anybody here who has headaches? Yes. Okay. And what do either one of you do when you get a headache? You have, okay, well, I take them seriously. Okay, so you have certain migraines. Okay. And so I would say sometimes medication is necessary. And I never say get off of your medication. I never take you off of your medication. I'm not a substitute for the doctor who gave you the medication. I just want to see if there's something that I can do, maybe limit your need for medication. That's really my purpose. And sometimes we can get rid of it entirely. Sometimes we can just cut it down. And I'm not the one who does that. The doctor prescribed it for you. But I want you to think about this. What do you do for your best? If you haven't had it. Just take a nap. Yeah, that's a good natural solution. And really, many times it can be a really good solution. Lots of people, when I ask them, they say, I take some Advil, Aleve, or Tylenol. I just want to point out to you and to anybody who does that, you don't get the headache because you have a deficiency of Advil or Aleve or Tylenol. Some because you don't have enough of that in your bloodstream. And if that was the cause of the headache, I say, great, good idea. But the thing is, if you take Tylenol or Aleve or Advil, and the next day, do you have any less chance of getting a headache? No. It just doesn't last. It's in your bloodstream for a little while, and it's not getting rid of the cause. So I think about that with every problem that people bring to me. Okay. What's the definition of insanity? Anybody know that? Yeah, hoping for different results. Yeah, I agree with you. That's a good way of putting it. This is a little pain relieving gel. You can have a little. Okay. Okay. So yeah, definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So if you come here and you've got issues with your health and you go home, and everything I told you goes in one ear and out the other, basically you haven't really changed anything. And maybe you're hoping that something different is going to happen, but you have to do something different in order to get a different result. I just want you to keep your minds open to being able to do something like that. Foods can be your best medicine or your worst enemy. So there are lots of products out there that are being called foods and they're not really even food. There's something that's been manufactured in a plant, put together, and it's ultra processed, we call it. It just doesn't resemble what they're actually trying to sell you. It doesn't resemble what it's trying to substitute for. So foods can be your best friend sometimes because they're loaded with nutrients if they're really, really the foods that we were designed to eat. We come from our ancestors that ate only things that they could hunt or they could gather. Hunted foods or gathering. Those are the ideal healthy, real foods that really prevent many, many illnesses and problems that people have. And anytime they get away from that or have most of their diet, a good portion of their diet on foods that are manufactured or packaged, that's when problems start. So real food, I call real food one ingredient foods. Like broccoli is broccoli, chicken is chicken, fish is fish, peas are peas. But some of the things that you're buying in the supermarket, if you're walking up and down the aisles, have 10, 15 ingredients in there, and most of them are not food. Understand? So you need an education about that. And I teach people how to read labels so they really understand what they're putting into their system and how it connects to how they're feeling. Side effects of excess weight. Type 2 diabetes is one serious side effect of excess weight. Joint and musculoskeletal issues are definitely worsening or sometimes called cancers, breathing problems, gallbladder and kidney disease, general lower quality of life, increased pain, mental illnesses, and certain cancers. So let me ask you this. Does it make sense? I'm sure if this happens, but does it make sense to treat each one of these illnesses or to get rid of the cause, which may be excess weight? What do you think? You were the doctor. Get rid of the cause. Yeah, when you do that, you improve all of these things. You decrease the need for all the medicines that are related to these things. So getting rid of excess weight tremendously affects your health. I really want to make healthier people. That's really the purpose is, my passion is to get people healthier. Foods that make us fat also make us sick. The thing about fat in general is it's a hormone factory. Anybody ever hear of that before? Okay. So there's something called inflammation that we know really causes lots of those problems. And when we carry around extra fat, we carry around extra inflammation. So the more of that unneeded fat that you get rid of, the less inflammation in your body. And so any condition that you've ever had or heard of that has itis in the end of it, that's inflammation. Some conditions don't even have the itis part of it in it, because that's acute inflammation. That's something that happens like tonsillitis, laryngitis, or any of those things. But people have conditions that really are chronic inflammation. Those are the serious problems. Cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure, kidney disease, and they are also associated with inflammation. Nutritionally cleansing the body of harmful chemicals improves your health and removes excess weight. And so many times if someone wants to lose weight, I try to remove their excess weight by taking away the bad and giving them more good. It's, I'm trying to make it simple. Sometimes it's more complicated than that, but more of the bad things to take away, your body can function better. And if you increase the good, your body functions better. And taking away the bad helps tremendously. And you can't overcome the bad by just eating more good. So the bad stuff is really the stuff that we need to change. Americans badly need to lose weight. Among developed countries, the United States has the most obese and overweight people, according to Jean Lamar, Wharton Professor of Insurance and Actuarial Science. Americans are much heavier than they were 10 years ago and much heavier than other people around the world. As a matter of fact, we're doing a job on the rest of the world. We're making the whole world fatter now because we've exported our bad habits and our franchises that are on every corner in most cities, Burger King, McDonald's, and Dunkin' Donuts, and now you see them in airports around the world. And so that's one of the things that we've done. And we've also seen, I've seen this too, people come to this country and they're lean and they're really, really pretty fit. All of a sudden they take on our habits, they get fatter. And so fat is not a disease, it's really, really due to habits that we have. That's really what you remember. And you can control it. And I don't want to shame anybody, embarrass anybody. It's not your fault. This is a very, very strategic marketing effort by the companies that make foods to get people addicted to the wrong foods. And you don't even know you're really being fed foods that turn you into an addict. But you can get off of it, just like an addict can get off of the drugs that they're on. You can get off of these foods, and I make it easier for that to happen. I teach you how to get rid of your cravings and your addiction. The Center for Disease Control notes that being overweight or obese increases the risk of many diseases and health conditions, and hypertension, dyslipidemia is high cholesterol, triglyceride, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, stroke, gallbladder disease, osteoarthritis, sleep apnea, respiratory problems, and some cancers, endometrial, breast, and colon. So again, what makes sense to you? I don't think we have any doctors in the audience. Doesn't it make sense to you to get rid of the cause of problems instead of covering them up? That's the best approach. We were designed to be healthy. Lots of people don't believe that either, but there's so much proof of that. Just a simple example is if you cut yourself, you have to think about healing that cut. Is it the Band-Aid or the antibiotic that heals the cut? Oh, your body has an inbred mechanism that heals the cut, unless you start rubbing dirt in it, something like that, scratching it too much. And that's kind of like eating the wrong foods over and over and over again. You're rubbing dirt inside of your body. So if you want to do that with some of these illnesses that are so common and caused by what we eat. Secret number one, to lose weight, be aware low-calorie diets don't work. I'm going to explain to you why. Anybody try counting calories as a way to lose weight? Almost everybody's tried it. I'll tell you why it doesn't work, at least one good reason why it doesn't work, and it's not necessary. A breakthrough study by Dr. Webb, published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, revealed that calorie intake alone was not sufficient to predict weight loss. So how many calories you have in a day alone is not enough to tell you, oh, I'm losing weight. Most people believe that you lose weight by cutting calories or fat, eating only one meal a day or only certain foods, or by starving themselves. Research findings published by Leibel, Rosenfeld, and Hirsch showed that the reason these diets don't lead to permanent weight loss is because the body, this is the important part, adjusts its energy requirements as it loses weight. So you're starving yourself or trying to cut calories drastically, your body starts using less calories, and it makes it more difficult for you to lose weight. So calorie counting isn't the solution, and a pain in the butt. Weighing everything, counting everything, multiplying, dividing, it's just not necessary. I never tell them calories. I teach them what really works, and what really works is knowing healthy, the quality of food, not the quantity necessarily. You can eat a lot of broccoli, but you can't eat a lot of Oreos. So even if they have a package that has Oreos, have 100 calories in them, have you seen those packages? Buy this little package of Oreos that have 100 calories, and then you might have something else that has 100 calories. But 100 calories of Oreos is not the same as 100 calories of broccoli. Your body has to have a whole different mechanism to handle the 100 Oreos. It really makes your body, it's an emergency for your body to get rid of the sugar that's in those Oreos. This results in a resistance to maintaining weight loss, even with a low calorie intake. Not all calories are created equal. The quality of the food. I don't know if we came in a little bit late, but I said the thing that, that really affects quality more than anything is the source of it. So we evolved. This is where I, got a lot of my principles, looking at evolution and how we evolved. We evolved from eating, hunting and gathering food. And those are the foods that are around the perimeter of a supermarket, not the ones in the aisles. So if your shopping basket looks like you bought all the stuff in the aisles, it's got fancy packaging, it's got fancy marketing on it, I think that's part of your problem. If you've got problems on that sheet of paper I gave you. So quality counts. The secret to weight loss is not dieting. Another part of the secret is in your metabolism, or how your body converts food into energy or fat. Metabolism is dependent upon the amount of muscle you have and the balance of the hormones. So hormones get affected by the foods we eat, and a lack of muscle means that your body isn't burning calories the way it really should. Okay. Since metabolism occurs primarily in muscle, the more muscle mass you have, the greater chance you have of increasing your metabolism. Now, I don't turn my patients into Arnold Schwarzeneggers, and I don't think they want that. But a little bit more muscle than you have now is going to make a big difference. Some exercise that involves strengthening is going to make a difference. So you have to be willing to do something a little different to get a difference. Women have a 10% slower metabolism than men, and that is why they have more of a problem with weight gain. So your metabolism is a little bit slower the average.
Quarter mile, turn right, US 6 West.
So the average woman who has the same weight is not burning as many calories as a man is, because a man has generally more muscle. And so I think there is also something you can do to catch up or to really increase your muscle mass. And the thing that I do when a patient comes into my office the first time is we measure body fat, not just your weight. We'll measure how much of your body is actually fat. And that's what you want to get rid of, some of that weight into muscle rather than fat. Your ability to gain or lose weight and to either have energy or be fatigued is also dependent on the hormones secreted by your pancreas and thyroid. Those are two of the organs that really have a big effect on your energy and your metabolism. So thyroid hormones speed up or slow down the conversion of sugar to energy in order to keep your body temperature at 98.6. So this is always going on. You eat something, your thyroid gland secretes some hormone in order to keep your body temperature within a very narrow range. And it's important because that's what's burning up your calories, keeping your body at a certain temperature. People with slow thyroids, has anybody been told they have a slow thyroid? What I talk about also is the cause. Many times food is the cause. If there isn't a tumor or growth on thyroid, if it really has been due to what's called autoimmune disease, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, food has a tremendous effect on it. So lots of times you can get your thyroid to work better as long as you have a thyroid, maybe decrease your need for the medication, at least some of it. Thyroid problems may not always show up in blood tests. You have to do a pretty sophisticated blood test to really figure out what's going on with the thyroid. Most of the time, it's a very simple blood test. Simple test for thyroid function is to take your temperature. This is something you could do at home at the onset for 2 minutes upon awakening, and you should do it 3 times in a row, 3 days in a row before you get out of bed. And your temperature should be at least 97.6. This is not my opinion. This is a world-renowned endocrinologist who found this, and he wanted to give people a way of checking their thyroid even when he wasn't seeing them. So 97.6 at least before you get out of your bed with a thermometer underneath. Okay. Eat and drink only those things that are healthy for your body. Now, if I asked everybody what's healthy for their body, we get a lot of different answers here. I hear that a lot. I hear people, I eat healthy. I have a healthy diet. And they also bring me a sheet of paper with 10 symptoms on their sheet and their weight. So their definition of health is not my definition of health. I want to give you the best definition of health. I want to give you the optimum definition of health. I want to get you as close to the best you can be as possible and as close as you want to be. So a healthy diet doesn't tell you very much. As a matter of fact, even the United States Drug Administration, USDA, their prescription for a healthy diet has caused a lot of health problems we have. And in our children too. If you look at the lunches that kids are having in school, they're atrocious. And they cause overweight, they cause early diabetes. And so that's not my definition of health. Definition of health is what Roland's Medical Dictionary says, optimum health. I want to be as close to the best as possible. Our early ancestors consumed less sugar in a year than we now consume in a day. So that's incredible, I think. Every time I read it, I say that's incredible. In a year, we consume more than someone consumes in a day. Excuse me, in a day, they consume more than our ancestors consumed in a year. How much was that? Well, years ago, 500 AD, it was about a half a pound a day. So over the course of a year, you consume 150 pounds of sugar. If you ate a half a day, that's what we're consuming now on average. And some people think, oh, I don't add sugar to my coffee. I don't put any sugar on anything. There are foods that turn directly into sugar, the equivalent of sugar. Anybody have an idea what those are? White bread? Perfect. It's the same. It's called a glycemic index. It turns into sugar as soon as it's in the body. It's broken down a little bit and it has the same effect on your blood sugar and has the same risk factors associated with diabetes. So that's one. Any others? What? Well, sweet things for sure. Those have a lot of sugar itself or processed sugar. Definitely sweets. Yes. But I'm talking about even food that turn into sugar. How do we get to 150 pounds of sugar per year if we're not adding much to the foods that we're eating? Certain fruits are fruit sugar, yes, but that's not the big one. Things like rice, potatoes, white rice, white potatoes are also very closely equivalent to sugar and turn into sugar very, very easily. And so think about it. How much are you having bread, rice, potatoes as a side dish or along with your meals? That's where the trouble is. So you have to change that. Because of large amounts of sugar we consume, the pancreas produces more and more insulin. Insulin is the key that opens the doors to cells, allowing sugar to move from your blood to your cells to use as energy. At some point, the cells close their doors and say, oh God, please don't give me any more sugar. My pancreas is tired. It really does get tired. It can't keep up with it. That's when people become pre-diabetic and diabetic. So insulin resistance occurs when the normal amount of insulin secreted by the pancreas is not able to unlock the door to the cell. And instead, the blood sugar elevates. And if it elevates a little bit, you've got diabetes. And if it elevates a lot, diabetes. Again, also something that's reversible, unless you go on this way, then it really can't be helped. Before that, it can help tremendously. It can decrease the need for medication and the risk of those problems. Okay. As a result, glucose builds up in the blood and lead to type 2 diabetes. Recent studies have found that some 32 million Americans suffer from the condition pre-diabetes. Now, I've had patients come into my office that really, it upsets me that they say, oh, I don't have diabetes, I have pre-diabetes. So I say, did your doctor give you a plan to not turn into a diabetic? No, he said, come back, we'll check it again. We'll see if it's that you're diabetic. So they wait too long. And maybe you're under that system where you're waiting for something that's so bad you can't ignore it anymore. That's a bad idea. Even a minor elevation in the level of insulin in the blood will block glucagon from breaking down fat. Diets won't work if fat can't break down elevated insulin levels. How about in Ozempic? It was in the news today, actually. Okay. Anybody think about using that? I really discourage you from people who've had serious side effects. And some of the bad things about it, first of all, it's not something to use for short-term minimal weight loss. You will not learn healthy eating, which is the cause of the way to get healthier, and it's the way to prevent all those health problems we talked about. So that's the cause of your weight problem. Side effects also, kidney problems, GI problems, long-term problems that we don't even know of. Most people have GI problems with Ozempic, nausea, diarrhea. They lose their nutrients. They just don't feel as good as they should. And it's not healthy. And 65% regain the weight if they stop. 65% go back to where they were because they never learned and never practiced getting rid of the cause. The cost may be down now, but that shouldn't sway you to use those. You have a question? Yeah. No, it was an accident that it was found and so lots of drugs are actually found that way, and that's it's like hitting the lotto for the drug companies. Diabetes, right. And they found that people lost weight also. Now they have some same class of drugs, Wegovy, a couple of others, that are even more precise in just the weight loss part of it. But what? GLP-1, that's the term for it. But I'm just discouraging anybody doing this instead of just learning how to eat properly so that you can eat healthy for the rest of your life. And as soon as you stop Ozempic or Wegovy, you will go back to where you were, never have learned anything. FDA approved only for type 2 diabetes, just what you said. Will not reverse or reduce other health problems that healthy eating for life will reverse. So it's not getting rid of the cause. I said we want to get rid of the cause of the problem. Ideally, you should eat many small meals made up of foods that will nourish your body and help maintain and control your insulin levels. Lots of people skip meals. I think that's a bad idea. Lots of people don't have the right components in a meal. And even the order of the way you eat can make a difference in your blood sugar. I teach about that too, so that you can reduce your blood sugar effect by the way you eat, what you eat, the order you eat, and also skipping meals. Think about this. When we eat, our blood sugar goes up a little bit if we eat a healthy meal. If we eat a bad meal that has full of foods that turn into sugar, we get a spike. And then you get a drop after that because your body doesn't like that spike. It's unhealthy and it's designed not to keep that spike. So it brings up your blood sugar a little bit, and you have to add a little bit of, maybe more sugar or something that turns into sugar to get yourself back to where you were feeling before. And so you're going up and down all day long with those foods, and it's like climbing up and down a mountain. That's why people feel tired, more tired than they really should, because you want to be on level ground. And so my eating for healthy for life is all about keeping as level as possible with very few spikes. You control insulin levels by eating lean proteins that are grass-fed, free-range, wild-caught, complex carbohydrates such as fruits, vegetables, and good fats. So those are quality foods. Those are where the quality is. Those are what are your best friends. And those are what you can make your diet out of. Those are what will reduce your cravings for the bad food. And those are ones that will bring you down to an ideal weight. And sometimes you just need to learn about that, coaching to help you get through it. And usually, I'll talk a little bit more about that. High protein meal decreases insulin, decreases glucagon, reducing stored fat, and weight loss. Protein is very important too. Protein foods are animal products, but there are also some plant foods that have a high protein level, and you should really have protein with every meal and every snack. How much? That's different for everybody. What kind? Different for everybody. So everything has to be personalized, ideally. Okay, so here we spoke about white flour, white rice, white sugar, highly processed, and contain no vitamins or minerals. So they really don't have anything healthy in them. The disease beriberi is caused by a lack of vitamin B1, and it only appeared in the Japanese population after they began to eat white rice. In order to lose weight and feel younger, you should avoid bad fats. Not all fats are bad. Some fats are actually good. Any idea what fats are good? And what fats are bad? What? No, saturated, not necessarily. No. What? Well, the omega-3 fatty acids, the ones that are found in fish, especially, certain grains also, flax seeds and some other seeds. But the ones that are bad are the ones that there used to be a commercial, better than butter. Did anybody ever hear that? Yeah. Can't believe it's not butter. That stuff poisons people, really. And stay away from artificial butters and fats. They're called trans fats. They really are almost eliminated from most foods right now. But so they're in creamers, they're in margarines. If you use something like a margarine, I would stay away from them. They're called hydrogenated oils. The other type of oils and fats that aren't good are seed oils, and those are canola oil, sunflower oil. Those are the ones that aren't good. The only oils that I recommend are avocado and olive oil. Really the ones that are the cleanest, don't have a negative effect, heart disease and things like that. So this is how bad this was. Eating trans fatty acids, particularly margarine, kills 30 to 100,000 people every year. That's bad. Okay. Water. It's pretty important. And I have people who I just tell them to drink more water and they feel better. It's really, most people don't drink water. I feel like I need to. Very rarely. Your body really almost controls that. But half your body weight, ounces of water, is how much water is a good guideline. So take your weight, divide it in half. So not everybody requires the same amount of water. Your size depends on if you have any problems with kidney function, then you have to be a little bit water. Otherwise, it's safe, and try to get the best water you can. Tap water sometimes isn't very good. So sometimes you need filtered water. It's really better. So try to get the best quality of anything that you put into your system. But drinking more water helps a lot. Helps energy, helps weight loss. Study published in Environmental Science, such as drugs such as antibiotics, hormones, painkillers, tranquilizers, and those used in chemotherapy have been measured in surface, ground, and tap water. So well water also sometimes not very good, depends where your well is. So the U.S. water supply has 10 times the antibiotics as the German water supply. We don't monitor this enough. So I think it really needs to be improved, and you have to protect yourself. So filtered water is a good idea. Secret number 3, avoid unnecessary drugs. I'm not against all drugs. I've had pharmacists in my practice and in my audience, but I want to tell you that pharmacists has a tremendous knowledge of what drugs really do, when they're necessary, when they're not necessary. I had one pharmacist who was in practice about 25 years. The end of my talk, I don't remember what topic exactly it was, but she came up to me and said, Dr. Markowitz, I agree with you. Really, everything you said was really, really good. And then she said, you know how many drugs I take? Just went like this, 0. She's been in practice for 25 years. She's been exposed to every new medication out there. And all she did was read about it, realize that if I can get away with not eating them, that's my philosophy. And that's what pharmacists out there, they take half of the drugs that the average person is given. All medications have side effects, but some of them are most damaging for pain, once they feel pain. A defensive back named Kenny Easley was permanently sidelined for the full career after taking ibuprofen. That's Advil. Yeah, for an ankle injury that led to the destruction of his kidneys. Dr. Bennett estimates that drugs like ibuprofen are responsible for as much as 20% of all end-stage kidney disease in the United States. So if you want to wind up with kidney failure, you've taken a lot of Advil. Over 1,000 Advil in your lifetime increases your chance of kidney disease 8 times. You know, just because it's not a prescribed drug and you can get it in big bottles, doesn't mean it's good for you. I'm telling you, you want to try and you want to be cautious with that. Not never, but only absolutely, if absolutely necessary. Common over-the-counter drug acetaminophen, that's both Tylenol and many other pain-reducing medications, can have disastrous effects on the liver, especially if you drink alcohol along with it. Very bad. Okay. Since metabolism and conversion of food to energy are dependent on a properly functioning body, we try to avoid the consumption of unnecessary drugs. Why do you think drugs have been so popularized and used so much nowadays, more so than when I was younger? So, what do you think? What do you think changed the advertising? That's number one. It's number one. You know, 25 years ago, I can't give you the exact date. Ads for drugs were not allowed on television. You're probably too young to know that, but it really wasn't allowed. It was against the law for them to advertise directly to the consumer because they knew it was dangerous. And what the pharmaceutical companies did was they basically lobbied Congress, which is like paying off Congress, pass laws that allowed them to advertise. They said, if we whisper the side effects, we just tell people the side effects. We do this, and Congress said, oh. And so that's really why there are medications. They're rampant. And if there weren't on TV like this, you would be finding alternative solutions to your health problems. You'd be learning about, kids would be learning about them in school when you were young. Yeah. Oh, it's very fast. Yeah. Yeah. It's designed to sell. It's not designed to make you healthier. It's designed to sell. You have to understand. And I even believe that with vitamins. If you see them on TV, a lot of the money that's gone into making that vitamin has gone into marketing instead. So really the quality of the vitamin, if it's something that you've seen on television, generally it's not something that you want to use, and you need to talk to somebody about who knows about the quality products that are out there. Move. Earlier we talked about metabolism. Now let's look at the relationship between metabolism, movement, and health. The more active you are, the more energy you will burn. Movement could be dancing, golf, tennis, kayaking, hiking, walking, any of that. A recent study followed 40,000 postmenopausal women for 7 years. Those who regularly engaged in moderate activities had a 41% lower death rate than those who did not exercise. That's how important that is. California State University study found that a 10-minute walk, you don't have to become a marathon. 10-minute walk is enough to increase energy, alter your mood, and affect a positive outlook for 2 hours. So there are lots of people who are on mood-altering drugs now. And this is one of the drugs that they should be taking, a walk. That's really the best helpers for mood. A study conducted by Harvard concluded that brisk walking at least 30 minutes a day can reduce the incidence of breast cancer in women by 70%. No drug does this. There's no drug that does this. Foods and movement are the things that make the biggest difference. Research indicates that walking 30 minutes a day and reducing your body weight by 5 to 7% can cut the risk of prediabetes by. So this is what I tell my patients about. If they do it, they really turn into people who have lower blood sugar and are not pre-diabetic. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. These are where the answers are. I'm giving you the answers. You know, you may need a little help coaching to kind of weed it out, because one day you'll see something that really is very true, and then you may see some mythology that's in the newspaper also. So there's a lot of stuff that's confusing. But I would say generally there's some really good things that you can do to improve your health. Lose weight, you must look at how active you are. And what prevents you from being active. This is important too. Primary barrier to physical exertion is pain. Since pain and stress have a negative effect on one's ability to lose weight, one must address these issues as part of a comprehensive program. The name of my office is called the Advanced Wellness and Injury Center. So it has two parts to it. Well, advanced wellness, it's one part. And number two is injury. That's the people who are hurting, who have pain. And that doesn't allow them to get well. So many times people need both combinations of those two things. Sometimes you need one, sometimes you only want one. I don't force anybody to take anything they don't want or do anything they don't want. It's up to you. But that's the reason for the name of my office. Get out of pain naturally. The cost to treat chronic pain in the U.S. is $470 billion a year. It's more than that now. It's a little old. Pain makes one feel old, makes one not want to move, makes one take unnecessary drugs. Go on. So, have you ever had a pebble in your shoe? Yes? Okay, so this is an example of how to treat a pebble in your shoe. You can take painkillers so that you don't feel it, or you can take the pebble out of it. And if you have two pebbles in there, you got to take both of them out. So if you have two or three different things that are really causing your problems, you got to fix all of those. That should be comprehensive. It's almost like a splinter. You have to take the whole splinter out. You can't take part of the splinter out. Oh, I'll go home and I'll walk a little bit now, but I still really have prediabetes or arthritis or whatever else you have. You got to take the whole splinter out if you really want to be as good as you can be. I'm happy with putting these slides real quick. So if I could show you today how to get rid of your problems by doing something natural, affordable, would you do it? How many people raise your hand? How many people would do it if it's natural, affordable, doesn't hurt, have nothing to lose? Okay. So I give everybody who comes to one of my lectures an opportunity. You don't have to do it. It's a chance to change your health, change your life, change how you feel, change how you look, change how much you enjoy every day. Really, really miraculous if you do the things that I'm telling you. So before you leave, if you'd like a phone call from me, it's free, I would say. And I will talk over what your problems are, what you really have tried to do. And just from that conversation, I'll be able to tell whether you're a good candidate for what I do. If you're not, I'll tell you to go see some other doctor. If you need a doctor, I will tell you. I have nothing to lose. It's a free call. All you have to do is schedule it because I have time set aside for the number of people that I have at a lecture. The other thing is I offer that to other people if I want to spread this word around. If you know friends, relatives, kids, husbands, anybody that you know that has a problem that they're not solving, they can get a free phone call from me. All they have to do is call, set it up. I'll give you one. Actually, I'll give you one of those passes. So anybody, before you leave, ask me for one of those passes. And if you want to have a time set up for the call, then we can do that today also. And it's good for, I have the next 2 weeks outlined my schedule, so I know when I can talk to someone and be free. This is, if we talk and you have a more complex problem that I can solve over the phone and want to do more, then there's a comprehensive consultation that includes a number of things that I think are in that envelope. But, tell you what that consultation will include. It's a screening test for stress. It's a diet diary to review that. It's a postural examination. It's talking to me and really finding out, digging for what is the cause of your problem. It's looking at past blood tests that you bring me also. So all of that is included in a $95 visit, which I used to charge $395 for. And I just wanted to make it easier for people to at least try what I'm talking about. And give them the time that's necessary to find out if they can be helped. This is what's in the one hour consultation. All past imaging and testing that you make available, screening test for stress, computerized posture evaluation, a foot scan, testing for undetected nerve problems, diet diary, measurement of percentage of body fat, assessment and preliminary treatment, customized plan. Before you leave, you'll know what the care would cost and what it would cost. So no surprises. And I would say, I don't like surprises. My patients have surprises. I want them to know exactly what the book would be. But it takes a little more knowledge than I have here. And you got this envelope. The envelope, we would want you to send it to our office in time for me to see it before you come in. I have some more information. So if you'd like to make an appointment for one of those calls, I can do that very quickly with any of you today. If not, then I wish you the best, and you know, my office is available to you at another time, but I think now is a good time. I think now is a good time to do something and to learn to do more than you're doing now, especially if you had a bunch of things on that questionnaire that you're concerned about and like help. Thank you for being here.